Hello, YouTube. Hey, guys, and welcome to the Dave DY Show. One more installment of mixed martial arts talk, MMA. I haven't done it in a while. Conor McGregor, the last one, and I've had a number of activities that I've attended in the month of April that I will share some clips from my phone. I didn't take any real good, GoPro shots of it. Not prior to, not during the events. I went to a local production in the underground cage fighting ballpark. So it happens at the Fit Team ballpark of the Palm Beaches, which is, I think, where the farm team for St. Louis, the Cardinals, plays. It's down a ways. We have a close, maybe not. I don't know. So maybe. We have a ballpark right near us, a mile away. It's called Abacoa, and maybe it's the Yankees, have their farm team there. Don't know. But I know, I think this Fit Team ballpark. That's like a $25 million facility. They put the octagon right at the middle of the infield. Right? Like at the pitcher's mound. The octagon. And then they use the immediate stands right there behind home plate. And then they stick tables up all around it. So it's like you're at a UFC event. And America's top team, ATT, is down here in Coconut Creek, right? Sunrise, Florida, whatever you want to call it. And we've got Joanna Jacek, we've got Yoel Romero, we've got a whole who's who of killers that are from Latin America, that are from Europe, that are from Brazil, South America. And so I've got a couple updates I want to share with you. I'll shoot some clips in here. This thing, this underground cage fighting ballpark, I'm going to tell you, any of the people that are watching this that like MMA, that watch me, and that are like me, if you don't go to a local event for your MMA, you're dumb. My friend, my close friend, my awesome friend out in Colorado, Kevin McLaughlin, he's got 5280, which is his gym, it's his dojo, it's his whatever you want to call it. He primarily has moved to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Wushu Karate, which is what he studied his whole youth. And I think he's, blue belt or whatever in BJJ, Brazil Jiu-Jitsu. And he's got an attendee that's coming for a special session. It's $75 a person with limited space at his gym. And this guy's gonna roll, and I mean, he's one of the world-class BJJ dudes. So look it up online if you're out in Denver. Bring your kid. It's over in Parker. That's where Kevin's gym is. That's the kind of crap you have to partake in. Watching stuff on this boob tube is wonderful. You get instant replay, you get close-ups, you get slow-mo, whatever. You can fast forward through ads. There's no waiting. You have your bathroom, you have your kitchen, you have all the amenities there. But it's nothing like a real experience. And when I say real experience, I mean attending and watching. You go to Master Kevin's dojo there, or his gym, and you're rolling. You're going to watch, you're going to roll, you're going to participate. A whole different level. So, I don't know. Find your niche, but don't just sit way back in the corner and be an observer. Mixed martial arts, the arts of, combat fighting across the globe are awesome, and that's why I love to share them with you. But this underground cage fighting at Battlefield was sick. The first or second fight was this black kid from St. Louis or Michigan, somewhere, Kansas City, somewhere in the Midwest-ish, maybe somewhere in Ohio. This dude came out and mauled this kid, split his face, his nose, his lip. The dude was crumbled bloody. It was awesome. I think this black kid was he was a Jamaican dude. Rude boy! My wife got me this for a present. We were at a table next to the octagon. I saw a who's who of fighters there. I saw Mike Brown. I saw Hector Lombard. I shook their hands. The main card was canceled. It was pretty awesome. It would have been awesome. But it was Hands of Steel. No, what was his name? Diesel. Not Diesel Riggs, the other one. With the, platinum blonde hair, and he's old now. And he's at the end of his career, but he's still fighting for money, which was awesome. He came out, he apologized to the entire ballpark because he was fighting some Brazilian, and the guy couldn't show up or he got hurt or something. So he apologized, and he came out. I shook his hand. He was awesome. I went over to Andre Arlovsky. Andre Arlovsky's down here, dude. He trains with ATT. Went over to his table. He's holding his daughter. I shook his hand. I said, dude, you rock. I knew he was fighting at the end of the month over here in Sunrise at the BB&T Center, UFC Fight Night 150. Oh! I don't take a lot of pictures, and that's a failure on my part because it's a documentation, and it's awesome to re-look at those and to memorize and to put yourself back in there. But, and that's a failure on my part. I mean, this is my medium, right? This is what I do. But here's the other thing. It's fucked up, but I don't care. I love seeing these people, and I don't like to infringe on their life, and I just like to be human with them. I am so sick of the leeches that just glom onto them and do a selfie and all that shit. That's not me, man. And while I am impressed and I respect these people, they're just people. They're no gods. And I want to see them. I want to look them in the face. I want to shake their hand. I want to say, dude, you're awesome, man. So it's pretty cool. And it's not on here. It doesn't say who's fighting. But yeah, we had table 3A next to the cage. So, I mean, sweat and blood was shooting out near us. The photographers were right there. Everybody that was fighting was right there. Like I said, I saw who's who down here in South Florida. And I'm blessed. South Florida's got one of the hot epicenters because of the outdoor weather. You can train all year long here. You can run. You can lunge in the parking lot. The weather's primed to get to the gym. You can go to the beach. You can do water sport for fitness. I mean, it's got trail. It's got swamp. Hard to beat. Maybe one of the only other places, which has got brutal cold and snow, is Denver, which also has some crazy epic. TJ Dillashaw. His striking coach, what's his name? Some awesome trainers and awesome gyms there. And they've got a great epicenter for fighting in Colorado that moves down to, Jackson Wink, right down in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Dude, Midwest is a hotbed. But cold as shit and tough, and some people are tough as nails. Dude, those cats that train up in Boston, Ken Florian, or those dudes up in Montreal, George doesn't go outside, dude. He never did. The Fleur de Lis. We like to fight the MMA. It is great to be fighting in Montreal. Montreal Canadians, they're not the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dude, Rocket Richard. I couldn't live up in that cold. I've realized that. That's why I'm down here in Florida, and that's why I was out in Colorado. I'm sick of it. It hurts my bones. It hurts my body. Some people love it. They train out in the snow. Look at that freak, Kovalev or whatever. Alexander, the freak that won 4 straight Olympic gold medals in Greco-Roman. That freak that was beat by my boy from the Midwest, that would put you in the gut wrench and flip you on your fucking head when you were going 270. Ah! Dude, back to that dude. I'm just telling you, look his fucking picture up on the internet. 4-time Russian Olympic Greco-Roman legend. And they've got a picture of him. And of course he was probably loaded on fucking drugs. But he was a giant man to begin with from Siberia or whatever, the gulag. And they've got that picture of him where he's gut-wrenching. He'd lock, get on top of you and lock, and he'd do an arm lock, right? And then he would squat, lift, and pancake or roll you. He had a signature move. And because of his size and upper body strength, you look at him and go, the leverage isn't there, dude. This guy's not going to fucking make it, which most guys that size couldn't do. This animal would flip 270-pound men on their fucking heads. And there's a picture of a young, whatever his name was, Kovalov, I can't remember his name, Alexander. He's grimacing, picking someone up. And he looks like the fucking devil. And he broke every Olympic record. And then Trevor wrestled, my son wrestled, and we wrestled in Colorado Springs, and we saw Roland Gardner, who fucking beat this guy for the goal. Beat him by 1 point. I think it was 1-0, or 2-0, or 2-1. Roland Gardner, who then got stuck in the snow and almost died from frostbite. But big butterbean motherfucker beat this guy in his last Olympics and fucking rocked the Greco-Roman wrestling world. But I digress, because I love combat, dude. God damn you. And I know you do too. So I went to this cage fight down at this baseball field, and it was goddamn epic. And I saw everybody, and I shook all their hands. It was my birthday. I think I had 4 double vodka tonics. Dude, what a raucous, wonderful event. I had people that I enjoyed were with us. Tracy paid for a table, 5-6 bills for my birthday, $200 in alcohol. Come on! It was unreal. However, you can get tickets to these events for $20 or $30, and you just sit in the stands. And they're down here. I'm going to attend those, and I promise you should do the same. Support your local combat teams, your local combat organizations, locations. Go to your local combat gyms. And combat's loose anymore, right? Any of your mixed martial arts. And if you like karate, or you like jiu-jitsu, or you like kung fu, or you like, whatever. Sambo or wrestling or, Thai, Muay Thai fighting, whatever you like, go to that and enjoy it. Watch it. Intermingle with the people. They'll connect you. You don't have to buy a gi. You don't have to join. You don't have to do any of that shit. And they may pressure you, but you go, look, I'm learning. Don't worry. And I'm telling you, it's going to be tough on your body if you take it. Rolling. Jiu-jitsu is very brutal on the body. Wrestling is brutal on the body. And when I say that, it wears a body down. And the older you are, it's tough. It's tough on all your joints. It's tough on your knees. You're on the ground. You're in weird positions. It's tough when you're new because there's these differing levels of individuals that you wrestle with. The guys and gals that are experts are wonderful to practice and participate with. The newbie, the people that have been doing it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, not as much. They don't know how to turn it off. So they're the ones that try to tap you and get a little aggressive and try to prove themselves in the gym. And that's where you get hurt. And you just got to be careful, man. You sort of got to know who you roll with and find those partners and say, look, I'm learning. Once in a while, and this is the only way you're going to get your belt. It used to be anymore. They pass them out like candy. I think you can buy them. But you had to participate in organized combat events to move upward in your belt progression, right? To go from a white or a non-belt to a white to a whatever, blue, purple, black, right? Because there's not a lot of belts in jiu-jitsu other than, I think, my boy with Joe Rogan. With 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu out in California. He's got a number of belts, maybe. And Rogan's a black belt. And I think Rogan is a decent fighter. I don't think he's a black belt. He's got a great spinning back kick or whatever, but I don't know if he fucking can walk out and compete with black belts on a mat. Whatever. Who am I? I'm nobody. So I went to that in early April, and it was epic. Loved it. It was a whole night thing, bunch of prelims, main card fights. Joe Riggs. And Joe Riggs was the main fight, and it didn't go off. Who cares? I still shook his hand. I still had a blast. It was a great time. So then I went out and bought the UFC Fight Night 150 down here at the BB&T Center in Sunrise, right down past Hollywood, where ATT is, right next to the American Top Team. And man, it was awesome. And I think the tickets were $70, $100 or whatever, right? I didn't go crazy. I didn't buy floor seats. I probably wanted to. I didn't. We had decent seats a bit up, probably 100, 150 feet from the octagon. octagon, the big cage, so you could see a lot. They had the giant screen overhead. I didn't get to see closely or meet Dom, and I would really like to meet Dominic Cruz. I love him. He's smart. He's articulate. He's very he's got great vision. His play-by-play is epic. He's courteous. He's very inquisitive. He's fair. I mean, I love everything about Dom. I would have liked to have met him. John Anik, whatever. Rashad was down there. I got pictures of Rashad from Colorado 15 years ago when he first broke on the scene, whatever, with his purple suit on and his little, dreadies. Rashad's Rashad. I've liked him, but I don't think he ever reached full potential. And I think, was it Machida or was it Hua? Knocked him the shit out, remember? Whatever. And that was sort of the end of Rashad's career. But he was a scrapper, and he got in the cage. Little Joanna Jędrzejczyk was down there sitting next to, what's his name, that just won? Dustin the Diamond Poirier! And I didn't get to see them, because they stick them in a section, right? So it was a section away on the other side of the octagon-ish. But who did I see? I ran into and talked to Jens Pulver for 10 or 15 minutes, dude. Standing there. Little Jens Pulver. Little heathen. That dude lived a tough life. It was awesome to talk to him. He was sober. He had a couple friends with him. Cool as shit. Jeans and a t-shirt. Andre had just fought and lost a split decision. And I was talking to Jens about that, and he goes, yeah, man, it looked like Andre's going through the motion. I don't know where he's at. And I said, dude, I shook his hand the other night at one of the local fights, and he was holding his daughter. I don't know. I think it's a means to an end, and there's no more heart left for him. It's a job. And unfortunately, I think he has to do it. I mean, Andre's Belarus, right? Comes from squalor over there, where he was a cop or something, right? Orlovsky, or I don't know, maybe that's Fedor. I don't know. But I think he came from nothing, and he's here, and he probably has lived a pretty high life. I've seen clips of him getting, the fucking cryo, had a joint out in Jackson Wink for a while. He fought down there in New Mexico. He's been around. So I'm sure he's blowing through money, got nice cars. His family was at the table. I think they had him come as a pseudo, celebrity. They sponsored him, whatever. It didn't really look like he wanted to be at that fight night or at the UFC Fight Night. And I've seen him fight that way before, probably 5 years ago, where it seemed like he just wanted to get through the fight without getting his head pounded in. And that's not the right place to be in the cage. And I think poor Rory. Rory McDonald just fought, whatever, not Strikeforce, Bellator, or something. And Rory said, I am at a point now where I don't think I can protect myself. I don't have the hunger to get in there and kill somebody. And that's not the way to fight. If you don't have that, at least he admitted it. That dude's raw. And after those fights with, Robbie Lawler, where he lost his nose and his face, I don't know if you can ever go back in there, because if anybody touches you, you're back where you were. Collapsed, rebuilt shit in your head. Dude, right? Brutal fucking sport. So, I don't know, but I talked to Jens Pulver for 15 minutes. It was awesome. We talked about Orlovsky, and he goes, yeah, it looks like he was going through the motions, man. And Pulver had a brutal upbringing, abuse and drugs and, homelessness, living on the streets and just violence, a fighter. And then he moved it into MMA and he made a career of it. And he did it early, right? In the 80s, and the 90s, early 2000s. There wasn't a lot of money and he's not a rich man. And he was at this event. He was lucid. He was well spoken. And he looked at me and he goes, well, you got to figure it out, dude. Everybody's got to find their peace. And I was like, damn. From that motherfucker, that monster in the ring, dude, YouTube the fights, man. BJ Penn, that kid had some, you're going to be dead, lick the blood off your gloves, killer fights. And he had that kind of insight. And I realized, he's okay, man. Don't matter where he's at. He knows what he is, and he's better than he's ever been after going through that hell on this planet, which was awesome to see. Saw a little bit of Juicy A Formiga, little teeny guy with the fresh hair, still has the beard. I don't think he speaks much as the English goes, but saw him, shook his hand or whatnot. Saw Edson Barbosa. Edson was some broad, he was quiet. I don't think Edson speaks a ton of English well. I shook his hand and he gave me a wink. Wasn't his wife. I don't know who he was with. That's a bit of a bummer. I know he's got a kid and a wife in Brazil or whatever. So that was sort of strange. That sort of rubbed me weird. I was like, and weirdly throughout the night, I went down with a friend. We'd see him everywhere. And, he was near us. He sat in a seat near us. We walked out and he jumped in his whatever, $100,000 Mustang. Boom, started it up remotely. A red, sick-ass car, right? And he was down there at the front of the octagon, with one of his boys he was cornering or whatever. At least he was supporting in the fight. Security let him in. But, that was weird. I felt dirty or something. Seeing him with, whatever. Good seats, great venue. BB&T Center's awesome. I'll throw in a couple clips here. Your normal arena. We had a blast. There was a lot. Dude, the UFC is doing well, or as good as it's as healthy as it ever has been. The BBT Center was packed. I think the draw at the door was 1.2 mil or something, and there were 12,700, 12,574, something like that, 764. That place was packed. And it's where the Hurricanes, one of the hockey teams down here, the pro hockey teams plays. Panthers? Florida Panthers? No, I don't know. They're down here playing. So it's more of a hockey arena, right? It's not your football. It's not, or your indoor football maybe. It fits 15,000 people. There were 13,000 people there. There were 2,000 seats that were empty and they were top shelf. I mean, it was fucking packed. The Brazilians started their whoa, 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 whoa. The USA came out, and I think it was when Diamond or Mike Platinum Mike Perry was fighting. Who the hell did he fight? Oh shit! Platinum Mike Perry fought Alex the Cowboy Oliveira. If you haven't watched Platinum Mike Perry fight, the guy's like the kid in your neighborhood that was the bully, even though on occasion he got his ass waxed by somebody, right? But he wouldn't stay down, and he never shut his mouth. When he was bleeding, getting walked away by his mom or dragged away, he was saying "fuck you." You know what I mean? That sort of the crazy retard in the hood. That's Platinum Mike Perry, and this dude came out with his signature mohawk. Fucking sick fight. They put a wailing on each other. He and Cowboy. Cowboy is a monster. That guy shows up every fucking time. He samba'd his ass out dancing. The crowd screamed. The Brazilians screamed. They exchanged a couple rounds. It was bloody. Both of them took shots and chaos to their heads. Oliveira's quick. He's agile. He's angled. Perry's got bombs that he throws. Fucking busted Oliveira's head, busted his ear, bleeding all over. Oliveira had peppers and shots, and he had jabs and kicks. Dude, and Platinum Mike Perry walked away with the win. I think he fucking beat him down and choked him out, if I remember. I can't remember the win. Oh no, it was a decision. It was a decision. It went all 3 rounds. Hell of a fucking fight, dude. Awesome. Greg Hardy smoked the shit out of Dmitry Smolyakov. They keep giving this NFL wife beater, and the guy is an imposing fuck. He's a monstrous man. Heavy, a little bit heavy in the midsection. But, dude, for a young, monstrous athlete that played in the NFL, you're like, oh, fuck. It's a different level. This guy's a monster, and he's got a monster attitude. He's got this moniker, right? If you don't know who he is, YouTube it or Google it or ESPN it or whatever. Guy beat up his spouse, who got, convicted. Now he's in the MMA. He's talking like no one's ever going to beat him. He's talking like he's the new whatever. And because he's a name and he's got this publicity around it, a lot of people are pissed that he's getting this kind of visibility when he really hasn't proven himself. This was his second fight. He pounded this punk, and he won it easy. And everybody's like, listen, when are you going to give this motherfucker a real fight? Something big. He's a giant. He's a 6 striker. He's not extremely well polished. He's your normal, scrapping dude that's moving into the arts. And he did it. I think he lost his first fight. He won this one. He crushed this clown. Holy cow. Beat him senseless in the first round. And the big boys, they touch it, you go to sleep, right? It's not like the little fighters. So that was pretty epic. Yoel Romero was the reason why I wanted to see this. And he pulled out of the fights. He's injured. And so it was the alligator, Jacare Sousa. Jacare. Woo! It was the gator against Tom Henderson, or Jack Hermanson, the Scotsman. And Hermanson outpointed him for 3 rounds. And he won, I think, or was it a 5-rounder? 5 rounds. He outpointed him for 5 rounds, and he beat Jacare, which I don't think is good for Jacare. It's very good for Hermanson. Hermanson doesn't have near the following. Jacare needed to put this dude out or win, convincingly, and he didn't. And Jacare's great. He's like Alex Oliveira. He's a mainstay, Brazilian monster. Comes out, right? I don't know. So I didn't even stay for that. I went down with my friend Dave, and we left. We walked the hell out. And who did we walk out with? Edson Barbosa and his girlfriend. We walked out with them. To an empty parking lot, jumped in the fucking truck, and rolled. Awesome night, dude. What were the other eventful fights? I already said them. Dude, so John Lineker fought Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen's from Saudi Aurora, over there in Denver with all my friends. That's right near where my friend Kevin McLaughlin has his 5280 gym in Parker. You keep going down Smoky Hill and you run into Saudi Aurora, dude, and it is, it's sketchy in Saudi Aurora. Corey Sandhagen came from there. This kid can throw. He's got skills. He's smooth. He doesn't have power, but he touches you. He's got a great jab. He fucking went to town with John Lineker. And Lineker, that little fire plug, was throwing bombs. They both got smoked. They both were bloody. They both traded rounds, and Sandhagen came out with a decision, which was awesome to see. And I love Lineker. That little dude never has a slow fight, and that was a fucking barn burner. Roosevelt Roberts beat Thomas Gifford, which was sort of crazy because Thomas Gifford's this granola from like Utah, runs barefoot and shit. Sort of like the preacher's daughter. Yeah, he wasn't ready for this fight. He just got bombed. Roberts beat the snot out of him. And Roberts is relatively new in MMA. I think he's 8-0 his whole record. And he's an up-and-comer. And this was his I think this was his first main card fight. So he beat this other kid. But all in all, dude, it had some awesome fights. The prelims were pretty good. I think there was one notable prelim. Killer B, Ben Saunders, got destroyed by Takashi Saito. Saito fucked him up as usual. Ben Saunders is done. Again, Andrei Arlovsky lost a split decision to Augusto Sakai, which it looked like Andrei's just collecting a paycheck, which is a bummer. Carla Esparza, she's the little gal. She gets into scrappy fights. It's okay. She won decision. And Gilbert Burns beat Mike Davis. Those were the undercard, the prelim. But the main cards, dude, I think that, and I didn't mention it, Glover Teixeira beat Jan Kudalaba. And this guy's from Moldova. He's a big fucking Eastern European or wherever the fuck. They call him the Hulk. Glover Teixeira is one of my favorite fucking fighters. I've talked to the guy. His English is sort of okay. I've shaken his hand. He's the nicest fuck. And he's a monster when he gets in there and it's all business. And he was. It was pretty epic. So good fights all around. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Dave Show out.